Hello and welcome to the Bearded Horror Review. My name is Dan, aka the Boogey Man, and on this show I'll watch a horror movie, either a classic or a new release, talk about some good points, some bad points, give a rating out of 10 if I remember to do it, and let you know if I think it's worth a watch or not, in my humble opinion. And today I'm going to be talking about In a Violent Nature. Also, I'm going to take off my glasses. I always leave my glasses on, and I know they reflect the light, and it really bothers me. I don't know why. But yeah, we're going to be talking about In a Violent Nature. It's a horror film that came out just at the end of May. I saw it a few weeks ago, but I have been just, working on some stuff, so I'm a little bit behind. But I'm now trying to catch up.
Animals don't get too hung up on reason. They just keep killing.
This movie was talked about a lot before it came out. It was talked about its practical effects, and the fact that it's shot from the killer's perspective. And though this is not a new concept, it's a slasher killer perspective. And I saw some clips of this and I thought, yeah, it looks kind of interesting, dark, eerie, looks like it might be a bit of fun. So I booked in and I was really excited to watch this. When I got to the theatre, I found out I was literally the only person in the showing, which I was happy about. I was like, yay, I love being on my own in the cinema. And then I watched the movie. Now, I'm going to caveat with this by saying that obviously everything I do when it comes to reviews and stuff are my own opinion. It's how I feel about it. And a lot of people have said they enjoy this movie. They've said they'd enjoyed clips that they've seen, and when they've seen it, they said they've enjoyed the whole thing. They've enjoyed the setup and the way it's shot. Before we go ahead, spoilers, by the way. Spoilers, 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 if you don't want to be spoiled for In a Violent Nature. And secondly, before we carry on, if you could leave a like and subscribe, that would be awesome. Leave a comment down below on what you thought about this movie and what movies you want to see coming up. It's a little thing for you, but it's a big help for me. Really appreciate it. So we're going to get into it now. We're going to talk about how I feel about In a Violent Nature. I hate it. I hate this movie. This movie was one of the most boring, tedious, excruciating experiences I have had in the cinema for a long time. I understand what they were trying to do. It is using that slow built tension from long shots. It's using the perspective from the killer, especially a slasher killer, to show, other angle, that voyeur angle of the killer watching our victims, the setup of the kill. But Jesus, Lord have mercy, I was so goddamn bored. It is shot so boringly. Every shot looks like the last. There is so many shots that look the same. It's just behind the killer walking through the woods. This film is a walking simulator. It is a walking simulator. It's 90% walking through the woods, 10% douchebags in the woods getting killed. I thought when I started it, I was like, oh, it's a bit slow. It's trying to get going, but and okay. And then it started going. I was like, oh, okay, they're setting something up, and then it is just the same over, repeat. The plot is nothing you've not seen before. It is Friday the 13th from Jason Voorhees' perspective. And you know what? The fact that he's a silent, slow, methodical killer means he's got nothing. He's boring when you see him from the aspect of his point of view. The amount of times I literally being on my own in the cinema once stood up and went, do something or end. I shouted that out loud. And I was checking my watch constantly. This film, unfortunately, is the result of what I call the A24 effect. Now, A24 have made some fantastic movies, but what they do is they shoot their films slightly differently, and there's a lot of films that have been shot more like dramas and thrillers than horror films. They have these slow, static shots with dialogue and slow pan, and it's about framing the shot in this beautiful shot. It's not about the resulting you know, building the relationship with the teens and killing them off one by one. A bit of fun. This whole film is static or slow panning shots with no music, except for very brief moments where there's music, because it's background noise. The characters that are our main victims are extremely bland and unlikable characters. They don't interact like normal people when we see them interacting. The killer is inconsistent with how he is. At the start, he's just walking and walking and walking, and then when he comes across someone, he kills them. And he's after a gold necklace. That's what sets this whole thing off. But when he comes across the teens, instead of walking up to them, killing them and trying to take the gold necklace, he waits in the shadows and plots out a cool way to kill them. It doesn't make sense. It's inconsistent. We also get to see the killer full on, and it's not a big reveal or shot or anything. It's just like, here's his face, and it's an undead killer that we don't even know exactly who this person is. There's a story that's told in the film, and it's not confirmed, because later on in the film we're told that the story wasn't completely true, and we're told that this has happened before where he's come back. And I was just so bored. Imagine watching an hour and 30 minutes of this. There's just that. There is no dramatization to it. There's no tension building. It is all walking and then kills. And people that keep talking about the kills that are happening in it, most of them are dumb and boring. There's one where a woman gets pulled underwater and drowned. There's one where a guy just walks straight up to the killer and gets wiped out. There's one that everyone keeps talking about, which is the yoga scene, and he folds her in half essentially. Using this hook that he's got. He's dressed like a very old-timey firefighter, so he's got the old firefighter helmet, and he's got some of the tools that they used. And I remember watching this scene, and I remember thinking, this looks bad. The effects didn't look great. The effects didn't make sense. They broke the laws of physics by having a corpse be able to not only stand up on its own, but push against the killer to be able to create the kill that happened. It just was silly. And if the rest of the film was that campy silliness, like Friday the 13th or A Nightmare on Elm Street, you can suspend it and just enjoy it. But when most of your film is supposed to be this serious, very grounded, basically goddamn walking documentary, it doesn't fit. The tone is harsh and it clashes with you, so it creates a disconnect. And I will never watch this movie again. I hated this movie so much because it's so dull and it's so just tediously put together. It is paper thin, and the ending is supposed to try and say something, but actually it is just boring. I was so glad when this film ended. Hi cat, that is my cat. I was so glad. Yeah, yes, I'll give you attention in a minute. I was so glad this film ended. I was so bored, and it's short. It's like an hour and 20, if that. I get you trying to show off your practical effects, but some of them look terrible, and it is just not a good film. And apparently it's getting a sequel. It's shot in a 4:3 ratio. It's shot with steady cam, handheld cams. It's so boring. It's a 2 out of 10 for me. I never want to watch this thing again. Unless I want to go into a goddamn coma, I'm not going to watch it again. So if you're like me and you actually need a plot and you need entertainment and you need tension and you need more than paper thin copy paste characters from films from 50 years ago, I wouldn't watch it. Anyway guys, that is my review of In a Violent Nature. I'm going to be doing some more reviews. I'm going to actually be doing some reviews for my Patreon, which is up now. The first episode of my remake series is on YouTube and on my Patreon for free, so you can see how the series is going to be going forward. If you want to support me be able to carry on doing this more often, head over to that Patreon. There's going to be commentaries and the remake series, and also there's going to be some other stuff coming up real soon. Another review is going to be coming up soon. I've watched a bunch of horror movies recently, but yeah, thank you very much for watching, guys. What did you think of A Violent Nature? Comment down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and until the next time, guys, happy watching.